think we've been properly introduced. I'm James Bigglesworth. Friends call me Biggles.
Who's Biggles?
What are you talking about?
Biggles? He flies those aeroplanes, doesn't he?
Yeah, Biggles is great.
Johnny Jordan, that was a knockout, baby. Now, John, while you're in the air, come on a low flight for us and fly through that smoke once if you can. Okay. Come on the camera and fly through the smoke. That's correct. Okay. Guns firing, turn all cameras. It couldn't have worked better for me because he came in and he was in frame when the helicopter blew up and then took off. It was absolutely perfect. I had read Biggles' books as a boy many years ago, and then put the subject out of my mind until November. A producer, Kent Walwyn, and Pom Oliver called me to come into the office to discuss making the Biggles film. As the script developed, it became so powerful, so intriguing, so bizarre, that it became evident that a star name would unbalance the picture. And one day, a young man called Neil Dixon walked into my office. As soon as he walked through the door, I knew that that was Biggles.
Perishing. Biggles was always saying perishing. I obviously first heard of Biggles when I was a schoolboy and read several books. I hadn't thought a great deal about it until about 3 years ago. I read in the papers that they were going to do the Biggles film. And there were all sorts of famous names mooted for the part. And I turned around to my agent at the time and I said, please, there must be a part for me in this Biggles film. Somewhere there is a part. I feel it's right for me.
I'd visualised that we would be doing a period drama action piece set in a wartime period. But no, we see the Biggles exploits through the eyes of a young American boy and girl.
Put some spring in that step, huh? What do you think?
Okay so far. The buyer from National Markets just arrived.
Oh, gosh. Is my tie okay?
Yes.
My hat on?
Yes, you look great.
Wish me luck.
You're gonna need it. It's maximum fine.
The idea was to make it in a modern day period whereby our hero, not Biggles, our American hero, flashes back into the 1914-18 war.
Believe me now, I told you I keep going back to 1917.
But can't we go back? Or forward?
Biggles really didn't mean too much to me, and most people, I think, in America especially, are pretty much in the dark when it comes to his heroic expertise. But Mr. Ferguson, going back to my character, his whole story is pretty much, he doesn't know anything about Biggles, very little, in fact, about World War I, and suddenly he's thrown into all of this over his head, and so I feel very comfortable because I don't know anything about World War I or Biggles, except I know most people in this country would probably shoot me for that. The relationship with Biggles is strengthened, and this guy who's sort of a tight, sort of nervous business type to begin with, sort of becomes your hero, your 1914 save the world type of guy. And he and Biggles go through an awful lot together, and by the end of the movie, you kind of think maybe he grew up a bit.
Biggles. Have I met you, sir?
Well, I play William Raymond in this Biggles drama, who was the commanding officer of Biggles in the First World War. But there's a Biggles, still a boy of what, 18 in the First World War? And here am I playing in the script, it says 80. It's very nice. About right, too.
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you. The years have taken their toll.
The great thing about it, I think, is the affection that grew up between those young men. What was their life expectancy? 2 weeks in the First World War, in the Royal Flying Corps. And it was rather lovely that I asked the director if we could get a Royal Flying Club tie, which was started about 1912. And they got me on. Isn't that lovely? I don't know if we're on colour. And then that became the RAF. So it all ties up between that early time when the aeroplanes were laughed at. I mean, I can remember as a boy that they thought the aeroplane would never last, even if, any more than the motor car would. It was all horses and Shanks's pony.
Damn me. What an ingenious contraption.
What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? We better get out of here before they see us. Wait a minute, you're not seriously going to try to fly this thing, are you? You don't know how!
One of the most dangerous stunts we've done to date is they're hanging on the helicopter. The gag is Biggles flies off with a helicopter, has never flown before, and the helicopter gets into all types of spins, and Wayne's supposed to slip off, which he does, flies backwards over the Tower Bridge, and then he has to unhook himself while he's 150, 200 feet up, and then climb into the helicopter cockpit. Helicopter flies off. John Huff's given me this brief to go and look at some roofs. He wants some very hairy stuff on this rooftop chase we're doing, where we found a roof approximately 100 foot high, and there's another roof 15, 20 feet across where they leap from one roof to the other. The other roof, by the way, is 30 foot down. And if they miss, it's arrivederci, it's goodbye.
As production designer, one of my tasks on Biggles was creating a World War I battlefield. I say creating a World War I battlefield rather than recreating, because we take the research and get down to the nitty-gritty and know the subject completely, and then do it our own way, because the real way wouldn't necessarily fit in with what we need to film. Having looked at lots of moors and desolate places all around Britain, we eventually found this clay quarry, which is fairly unique. It was used for digging clay for bricks for the London Brick Company. And we took the flatness of it and started digging it around. We just drew a plan out and made a model in clay in the workshops. And then came out here 4 weeks ago with a bit of machinery and a lot of hard work. So this lot was snowed over, and the trenches, which are now sort of filled with people, were filled with snow 2 weeks ago.
Now on the day when we shoot, you'll have mini explosions going on around you. Mortars coming in, enemy are firing. Don't worry about this stuff. That's all it is. Tricky props.
What are you doing with that cork, though?
Well, this is just sort of stuff that's going to give actual shape to the explosion, because when the explosion goes off, this has got something to actually lift. You won't see any shape to it. So just put a soups on a cork and a soups on a cement. And don't walk away with it yet, because I haven't finished with it. I've got 5 rings of Cortex under here and a naphtha burster out the front, which will give us a little puff of red flame, and probably about 20 foot high of cork and cement.
162,
The
take
scene
one.
in the hotel.
The scene in the hotel.
When I open the door, you hear a big thunk, kapunk, and I open the hotel room door.
Oh, yeah.
And you and Chuck were there. What was I wearing?
Dressed up in a nun's.
I wear everything from fucking blue knickers to a nun's outfit.
Yeah, you actually look very good in that nun's outfit. Well, you know more about the trenches than I do, so you...
Well, what? It's your first time back, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm an old hand at this. 4 times, 5 times I go back. This is the 4th. When we fall into the shot here.
Right.
Boom, boom, we come back from the modern day. And boom, boom, we're back into the middle, I guess, of a huge battle.
This is the first time you go back and you're totally baffled and amazed and shocked by the whole situation.
Okay. To say the least.
Good.
Hey, camera.
It's the American chap. Good God, a woman! God damn me. It's the American chap. Good God, a woman! Good God, a woman! Good God, a woman!
Captain Bigglesworth, this is Debbie Stevens, a nurse.
It's not quite what I expected. It's a little colder than what I'm used to. But then again, I suppose being covered in mud and wet doesn't help. You know, it's not exactly the glamorous way to be. I play the part of Debbie Stevens, who's very much a sophisticated girl. She's part of the more modern side of the picture, and as you can see, I end up right back in the trenches with everybody else, and I meet Biggles and I go back in time, and it's great fun because I don't think there are too many parts where you get to play yourself in modern times and what you would be like in the middle of bombs flying overhead.
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
Well, it's another sticky situation you've caught Biggles and his 3 intrepid chums in. I want to introduce the faces behind the names. First of all, a distant cousin of mine, Algernon Lacey. Next to him is Lord Bertie Lissy, soon to make his maiden speech in the House of Lords. And lastly, but not least, is Ginger Hebblethwaite, our young protege.
Grenade? Too close to the civilians. Maybe they'll listen to reason.
I say, would you chaps consider surrendering?
I'm the classic upper-class, moneyed playboy, really, who thinks all this is a bit of a romp, but is actually jolly brave when it comes down to it.
I suppose Ginger just wants to be everything and go everywhere that Biggles does, and do everything that, and be a hero like Biggles.
Algie, Ginger, come to the back.
Looks like this town was nuked.
Newt, I thought you said we were 1917.
Nuked? What's that?
It's American slang word. It means to overreact.
And how do you think the film will go down in the States? I think it'll go down rather well. We have got a lot of special effects. We've got a lot of amazing stunts. And the storyline is fast, action-packed. There's a bit of romance in it. And I think all those elements should go down well in America. They like the British. I mean, whereas Bond has become an international personality, Biggles is British, and I think he should take off, to coin a phrase in America. Oh. That's my arch rival, von Starline.
Aha.
Whizzing overhead.
Aha. What is he like in this film?
Excellent, excellent.
I play a character called Kapitan Erich von Stahlheim, who is the villain of the piece, Biggles' main adversary. Now, research for this was based loosely on the character of Baron von Richthofen, who was initially started life as a cavalry officer, then graduated into the Flying Corps. And there's similarities to be drawn between his character and mine, von Stahlhein's. As regards the relationship between Biggles and myself, being his main adversary in the air, his German counterpart, there's quite a few parallels to be drawn. The main difference, I think, being at the end of the day, I'm not quite such a gentleman as he is.
Hold it there for a second. So, Alex, you'll be coming in from here, and when I shout out steering, you'll see the steering too coming in on the attack there. When Neil says hit the deck, just run yourself forward and hit the deck to protect yourself from the bullet. Somewhere around there. So it's a run. I'll shout steerman. Stop to your trucks for a moment,
Biggles will shout, "Get down," and you'll all hit the deck.
Marie! Get down!
We've gone everywhere from 4 feet of mud to a nice spring summer day in a beautiful home. So somewhere in between there. It's all been fun. It's all been hard work and great crews. I mean, the one thing about working with an English film crew is, you know that they're doing a good job. And they're so polite about it, too.
We've been making Biggles in one of the coldest winters on record. I think it's probably a tribute to the British crews and actors that have survived so long. We had to actually shoot the film in the most inclement time of year, which is the beginning of January. Everybody has the feeling that they want to be a hero, and Biggles is one of those men who is an enormous hero who would all like to copy. So I think that he did help us dramatically as far as getting locations such as the Tower Bridge and filming in the city, which has always been a difficult place to film in. And that we've had marvellous police cooperation and civil aviation cooperation, and I think there again it's because they wanted to get this great old boy of the air up in the air and be part of it.
Biggles, the film I'm doing now, is splendidly played by a young actor who's making his way. And I think it's wonderful because it's, again, a family film, such as Star Wars was, where you could take your grandmother to see, and she might not understand it, but she will not be offended by one word or one scene. And I think this is the great thing that one needs today.
Biggles has been a long time coming to the screen, and I think he's here at last, and there's a whole new character about to slip into a whole new generation of children.